Hi everyone, welcome back to ChemHelp ASAP. This video is a review of solving linear equations with one variable. Specifically, we are going to review how to combine like terms, what to do with parentheses, and how to cross multiply. Let's get started. Okay, solving linear equations with one variable. Let's go. In general, I like to start with the simpler equations, so we're going to start in the upper left-hand corner right here, and then we'll move on to the more complex ones here on the right. Usually in working with algebra like this, there are going to be a couple different routes to get to the correct answer. So if you use a different route than I do, as long as you get to the right answer, that is perfectly fine. So for this first equation, I'm going to divide both sides by 3 first. That's going to leave me with x plus 5 is equal to 7. Then I simply subtract 5 on both sides and x equals 2. That's a pretty simple one. Let's move on to the problem that's right below it. In this case, I'm actually going to start by distributing my 7 and my 2 across my quantities. This is going to give me 21x minus 14 is equal to 16x minus 10. Now I need to combine like terms, so I'm going to combine my x terms and then I'll combine my constants. That gives me 5x is equal to 4, which means x equals 4/5, or if you prefer decimals, x equals 0.8. Now for my more complex problem over here on the right. I am actually going to divide both sides by 3, and that gives me 1/4 times my quantity 6x minus 3 is equal to 1/5 x plus 9. Next, distributing my 1/4 gives me 6/4 x minus 3/4. And of course, the right-hand side of my equation stays exactly the same. Now I'm at the point where I'm going to combine my like terms. This will give me 1.3x is equal to 8.25. Notice I went ahead and switched to decimals. You don't have to. You can absolutely keep fractions if you would like to. Finally, solving for x, I get 6.35. Let's go on to the next slide. So for these problems, you can see I have more complex fractions that I need to deal with. Sometimes I have x in the numerator, sometimes I have x in the denominator, and sometimes I have x on both sides. So I'm going to start with this upper left-hand equation, and I'm actually going to start by multiplying both sides by 32. That gives me 3 plus x is equal to 5 over 86 times 32, which gives me 3 plus x is equal to 1.86. Yes, I went ahead and switched to decimals here, but you don't have to. You can stay in fractions if you would like. This gives me x equals negative 1.14. Looking just below this problem, you'll see that I have x in the denominator. Generally speaking, when I see I have a variable in the denominator, I'm going to use a technique called cross multiplication. So I'm going to multiply the denominator and the numerator across the equal sign. So these also go together. What this means is I have 150 times 75 is equal to 3x times 94, which gives me 11,250 is equal to 282x. So x is equal to 39.9. You could have also used cross multiplication in the problem right above. It's really up to you which technique you want to use. Now for our last problem, I have x in the denominator on both sides. So I'm going to cross multiply again. This is going to give me 52 times the quantity 3 plus x is equal to 23 times the quantity 7 minus 4x. The important thing when you cross multiply here is to make sure you leave your parentheses in here so you recognize these as quantities. A common mistake students make is they'll just take the 52 times 3 and they won't actually multiply across the x as well. And that will give you the wrong answer. So make sure you keep those parentheses around those quantities. Next, I'm going to distribute. So this is going to give me 156 plus 52x is equal to 161 minus 92x. Again, I'm going to combine like terms here, and I get 144x is equal to 5, which gives me x is equal to 0.035. So don't be afraid of these unusual answers here. In chemistry, we're very often dealing with decimals, and we're not necessarily going to be dealing with whole numbers that are very well behaved. Remember, when you are using these skills, you're probably not always going to be using well-behaved whole numbers. Chemistry is all about decimals and fractions. Now, if you need review on other math skills, you can check out these videos here, and thanks so much for watching.